So I'm here at Maggiano's, and in a few moments the Attorney General is going to be speaking about human trafficking. I'm here with Stephanie Dillon. Stephanie, tell me about what you do.
Yeah, so we are Polima Foundation, and we do 3 different avenues where we reach out to the women. We go out to, do awareness out in the streets, go to the different hotels, the different convenience stores, anything where the girls might be hanging out, or so we can get some awareness about it out there, that girls that are missing. We also do an aftercare program, so we have a safe house where we, get the girls equipped to get a job, do counseling, dental, their hygiene, get it all back together and get their lives on a roll. And then we also do trainings in the different Metroplex areas. So we have 8 different places that we do training.
So how big of a issue is human trafficking in the state of Texas?
Definitely, it's huge. I mean, it's number 2. In the United States, and so it's really important that we, just make it aware that that these girls or even boys are, involved in human trafficking, and make it aware for the people.
So Stephanie, one question that I want to ask everybody here is that from what I've read, when you look at children that come from divorced families or children that are born of families where it's just a single parent, the family's never been formed, from what I've read, that they are a much greater risk to be trafficked. Can you comment on that and tell me your experience about that?
Yes, I definitely would agree with that. That's definitely, they're very high vulnerable in that area because, they're hurt, they're broken, and they're looking to fill that void. And so sometimes, they fill that void, whether it be a guy that reaches out to them or just even a girl that's a friend and wants to, console them and make them feel good. And that's kind of how they, get them in and start to lead them into that road of human trafficking.
Okay, thanks. And tell me your foundation again and how anybody that was interested would like to could get in touch with you.
Yes, so we'd love to. I'm Stephanie Dillon. I'm with Polima Foundation and
Polima, Polema Foundation.
POIEMA Foundation at .org is where you can find our website.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye. So once again, I'm here at the meeting with the Attorney General. I'm talking with Tanya Stafford. And Tanya, you were featured in one of the films today. I want to thank you for your courage and your bravery in sharing everything. But can you tell me what you do here? Just go ahead and tell me a little bit about what you're doing.
Now, after Be the One, before Be the One, I am the one. I'm the one featured in Be the one of the survivors. And what I currently do now is rescue, restore, and stabilize victims of human trafficking. So I am part of most of the busts that go on with Homeland Security. I work closely with Homeland Security as well.
Okay, so tell me, when you think about Texas, one of the things people ask is how big of a problem really is this in Texas? Is it a huge problem or is it just a little problem?
It's a huge problem. Texas is number 2 in trafficking because we border all the highways and the byways, so it's a huge problem. It's part of the $150 billion industry. Texas is number 2.
$150 billion industry?
$150 billion.
That's annually?
That is annually.
Wow, I did not know that. So let me ask one other question, and I ask this of everybody. When I've read about human trafficking, what I've read is that children that come from broken homes, be they homes of divorce, be they homes that have never formed with a father and a mother, single parent homes in many instances, these children are much more vulnerable to being trafficked. Can you comment on that, either from your experience or what you know?
Well, yes, from my experience being a human trafficking survivor and now starting her own organization, It's Going to Be Okay, I did come from a broken home. A lot of children that are trafficked do come from broken homes, but also a lot of children that are not in broken homes is one of the myths that they are trafficked as well.
Right.
But the broken homes are at a higher risk.
Right.
In the most vulnerable communities and not so vulnerable communities. So it goes all hand in hand. It's not this ethical or that ethical background. It's every surrounding.
So I guess what you're saying then, if we could find ways to strengthen the families not to say that people from intact families are not vulnerable at all, but if we could do something to strengthen our families, would be a good step toward actually decreasing the human trafficking problem.
We could, yes, and we're going to eradicate human trafficking. It's one survivor at a time, one person at a time. Awareness and education is the key. That's why I go to high schools, colleges, corporations, is to educate. The key is education to eliminate it.
So Tanya, again, thank you so much for sharing. If somebody wants to be involved with you, how do they get involved with what you're doing?
They can go to my website, igtbok.org.
Say that again.
igtbok.org.
Okay.
And that's the acronyms for It's Going to Be Okay. Not the O-K-A-Y, but the O and the K. And you can reach us by phone, 469-859-2180. And someone will be available to take your call, inquiring about It's Going to Be Okay. Help us raise awareness and funds. That's what it's about. It takes that to take care of the victims that we currently take care of now.
Thank you so much. And Tanya, once again, when I watched you on the video today, you were outstanding. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for the courage and the bravery you have.
Thank you.
Thank you. Feel free. So I'm with Alicia Bush. Alicia, we're at the meeting that Attorney General Ken Paxton is going to be speaking at on human trafficking. But you're here. Tell me a little bit about your organization.
Sure. I'm Alicia Bush, and I'm the founder of Treasured Vessels Foundation. We are building a secure community of tiny homes for children 11 to 17, particularly girls at this point, that have been recovered from exploitation and trafficking. And one of the reasons why we're doing that, because our state in Texas has shown to have 79,000 minors and youth that have been exploited and trafficked right here in our state. And our state ranks #2 in the nation. And when a child is rescued here in our area in North Texas, there is simply no place to go other than jail on a runaway charge or the home to go back to the home that they ran away from in the first place. So with our tiny homes, they'll receive academic education. Teachers will come on site and begin to teach them any schooling that they missed out on. They'll have group therapy, individualized therapy, ropes courses, art therapy, dialectical behavioral therapy, all forms of therapy tailored specific to each child's needs.
Okay, so you said that Texas is #2 in the nation. It must be a bigger problem than what most people are aware of.
It is. You know, it's interesting because people think it has to do with our borders, and some of it does, but some of it does just because we're a large state and we're a very popular state to where people actually, the traffickers will bring their kids here to be trafficked. They'll actually bring their girls here. Houston is actually #1 in our state, and Dallas ranks #2.
Wow. So one of the things that I've read, Alicia, is that children that come from broken homes, homes of divorce, homes that the family's never been properly formed, single parent homes, that they are more vulnerable to being trafficked, to the human trafficking trade. Do you have any experience with that, or do you have a commentary on that?
Yes and no. Yes, I do believe that. We do see more and more victims of human trafficking when it comes to a fatherless home, a broken home, homes that are in poverty, and where this is actually generational human trafficking, familial trafficking their kids. But also it doesn't have any race or socioeconomic status or marital status, anything kind of tailored specifically to this population, because it can actually happen to any kid next door. These traffickers are finding these kids online, and they're building a bond with them, beginning to build a grooming process, and then next thing you know, the child actually goes to the trafficker willingly because they built a friendship and a bond with this child, with this adult.
Gotcha.
And so that's really, I never want to say that it only happens to the vulnerable, because reality is at 12 to 14 years old, how many of us were not vulnerable?
Right, exactly. So if somebody wants to get involved and help out with your organization, how do they contact you or the organization?
You can contact us on Facebook or any sort of social media. We are Treasured Vessels Foundation.
Okay.
So it's treasuredvesselsfoundation.org. Reach out to us. We would love to hear from you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
So I'm still at the meeting where Attorney General Ken Paxton will be speaking on human trafficking, and I'm here with Caroline Opie. Caroline, tell me a little bit about what you do.
Yeah, so I'm from Refuge City. We are a nonprofit that serves children up to 21 coming out of human trafficking or sexual exploitation. We serve through 3 branches: prevention, awareness, and restoration. Restoration is our main focus. So we serve the kids. We offer full wraparound care for the kids and their families. So we offer counseling. We have a GED school. We have a whole outpatient program that involves a family dinner with therapeutic art. We basically work with them for whatever they need. So we have an education through GED school. We help them get a job after they graduate. We advocate for them. We go to their court dates with them. We teach them how to testify. Basically, if there's a need, we'll meet it for our survivors.
Okay, so people think about Texas. Is human trafficking really that big of a problem in Texas? What would you tell them?
Yes, Texas is actually the #2 state in the nation behind California for human trafficking. It is a huge problem, especially in Houston, Austin, and DFW.
Okay, so when you think about kids that are trafficked, and I know every child is actually a risk to be trafficked, but there are some things that make a child more vulnerable to be trafficked. From everything I've read, when you look at children of divorce, children that come from broken homes, children that come from homes that the father and mother are not there together, or the family's never been formed, that there is a heightened risk of vulnerability to them. Can you comment on that, either from what you know or from your own experience?
Yes, from what I know, there was a statistic that came out that the most common factor of every child that comes out of human trafficking is CPS involvement. So
it's more foster care then?
A lot of it is, yes, like they're coming from a broken home, their home has been very unstable, CPS had to step in, and then from my own personal experience, every child that we've encountered, they're just looking for love. That's
right.
How they get caught in it. They're looking for relationship, and those needs are not being met in the home.
So if somebody wants to help your organization be with you, how do they contact you?
Yes, you can email us at info@refuge-city.org.
Refuge-city.org.
Yes, that is the best way. You can also email volunteer@refuge-city.org, or you can always call us at 432-413-4300, and you'll speak to, that's our emergency line.
Thank you so much, Caroline.
Thank you.
So I'm still here at the meeting with Attorney General Ken Paxton, who will be speaking about human trafficking. And I'm here with Jason McBride. Jason, tell me a little bit about what you're doing here.
Yes, I'm a public health educator at Markham Hospital's Rape Crisis Center, and it's called VIP for short, but it stands for Victim Intervention Program. And what I do is I go out in the community and I let people know about this great service. What we do is anybody that lives in Dallas County who's at least 4 years old and up, if they've any time in their life, if they've ever been a victim of domestic violence or sexual assault, human trafficking, or witnessed any of that, we can provide free counseling and other support services for them.
Okay, so one of the things that people say, this is Texas. Is human trafficking really a big issue in the state of Texas?
Very much so. The National Human Trafficking Hotline says Texas is #2 for the amount of human trafficking calls to the hotline. So yes, there's a lot of human trafficking activity going on here. It's a very serious problem.
Okay, so the other thing, I know that every child is vulnerable to some degree about being trafficked, but what I'm wondering about is children that come from divorce, children of broken families, children that come into a family where the father and mother are not present together. From your experience or from what you know, are they even more vulnerable than children that come from intact families?
I believe that yes, they are, because a lot of people who may be more susceptible to human trafficking, maybe one of the things that they may be looking for is love or acceptance, and maybe if they don't have that in their home life, they may look for it from somebody who's actually a trafficker. So I would say yes, that they do tend to be more vulnerable to that. And a trafficker is looking for somebody who's vulnerable, and whether it's if they're looking for a job, and they're looking for love, or whatever it may be, vulnerability is the big thing that they're looking for.
So do you accept volunteers? If somebody wants to help, how would they get in touch with you to help out?
Very good question. I would say if you could call us directly at our clinic, and we would work with you from there. Our phone number, I'll repeat it 2 times. It's area code 214-590-2926. Again, that's 214-590-2926. And again, we're the Parkland VIP Clinic.
Thanks so much, Jason.
Thank you.
I'm still at the meeting with that Attorney General Ken Paxton will be speaking out on the issue of human trafficking. I'm here with Kim Robinson. Kim, tell me about what you're doing down here.
Yes, I am here at the Dallas County Council of Republican Women talking about the work that we do at New Friends, New Life. For 20 years, New Friends, New Life has worked to restore and empower formerly sexually exploited or trafficked women. We offer hope and healing to those women. When they come in our doors, we work to provide them with counseling and with case management by our licensed clinicians, and we also work to help restore their power through employment. We call it economic empowerment. And for 2018, we saw about 250 women and teens in our organization. And our goals going forward are to continue to grow our population and also to expand our jobs program.
So, when you think about Texas, some people may say, is human trafficking really a big issue in the state of Texas?
Absolutely it is. Texas ranks number 2 in human trafficking cases. And why is that? Well, largely because we're a border state. So with that, we know that we have to do something about this horrific crime. And we also know that about 400 teens are on the streets of Dallas each night that are being trafficked.
Wow, that's something I have not heard. So one of the things that I've wanted to ask, that I ask everybody about, is that I know all children are vulnerable, but what I'm concerned about is children that come from families that are no longer intact, children of divorce, children of families that there's only one parent, or the family has never been formed. From your experience and from what you know, are they even more vulnerable than children that come from intact families?
They absolutely are, and it's sad, but they are more vulnerable because they are more easily manipulated. Without the loving support system that a two-parent home can provide, that steady, consistent rules can provide, those children are more likely to reach out to individuals who can provide that. And traffickers are trained in how to spot youth that are vulnerable. Most youth who end up being trafficked have been exploited or abused in some form, whether it's physical or sexual abuse as a child. Thus, they believe that maybe that's what they were destined and born to do. Traffickers hone in on that, and if they know that you don't have a strong support system, they know that they're more likely to succeed because no one's going to question or perhaps even be looking for you.
So what I hear you saying, that if we had policies and if we could strengthen the families, make more families intact, we could actually nip some of the problem before it began.
If we could also make sure that we are talking to our youth about how those traps are formed with traffickers and how abuse happens, and tune into that abuse early in life so that they understand as they become teenagers that that is not their fault, not what they were born to do, then we can also help ward that off.
So if people wanted to be involved with you or somehow get in touch with you, how would they do so?
They can go to our website, newfriendsnewlife.org.
Newfriendsnewlife.org?
That's right, newfriendsnewlife.org, or they can call our office, 972-965-0935.
Thank you so much, Kim.
Thank you.
Still here at the meeting where Attorney General Ken Paxton will be speaking on human trafficking, and I'm here with Elisa Evans. Elisa, tell me what you're doing here.
We're with Alive at Last, and what we do is we raise up the community to mentor sexually trafficked girls and women, and this is a huge need. It's a gap that we feel like we can uniquely fill because there's so many people that want to do something important, but they don't feel trained. And so we're here to train the community and help them walk alongside people who have been exploited in many different ways.
So So in Texas, is human trafficking really that big of a problem?
Oh yes, much bigger than what anybody understands. I work with partners like the Salvation Army, with Union Gospel Mission, so many homeless shelters and drug and alcohol centers. The people are right here hidden in plain sight. And so what we have to do is we have to go to them and we have to offer our services. And you wouldn't imagine how many people come and need our services. We're into the thousands of need here. This is a large, large problem.
So when you talk about children at risk, I know that every child is at risk to some degree, but I think about the children that are more vulnerable. And from what I've read, children that come either from children of divorce, children of broken families, or the family's never been formed, or single parent families, that they are even more vulnerable than children that come from intact families. From what you know and from your experience, can you make a comment about that?
Yes, absolutely. I believe that all people should be trained up because it can happen to anyone. But as you just mentioned, the people that are most vulnerable are people that are materially poor, oftentimes from broken homes, from impoverished families. They don't have a way to have that solid stability and protection that should be there in a family. And oftentimes drugs gets entered in at a very young age. And so when you have all these different levels of vulnerability, that's what really happens is these kids get taken at a young age. Sometimes they run away, sometimes they live on the streets, but all of these factors early on make a huge impact on what happens next.
What about children from foster care?
Yes, and I love anybody who wants to foster kids. There's so many wonderful foster homes out there, but there's also a population that we've noticed where there's a lot of trafficking and again a lot of people that aren't watching as closely if they're in the foster care system. A lot of times you've probably heard people run away from foster care homes.
Right.
They bounce from place to place, and so again that creates a higher level of vulnerability. Yeah.
So if people want to help or be involved somehow, how can they contact you?
Oh, absolutely. So we have a training every second Saturday, and you can look at all the details on our website, and that's aliveatlast.org.
aliveatlast.org, and a training every second Saturday.
Every second Saturday.
That's in the Dallas area?
That is, yes.
Okay, thank you so much, Elisa.
Thank you.
Thank you. Wonderful. So I'm still here at the meeting with Attorney General Ken Paxton. I'm here with Nikki Jew.
Yes.
Go ahead and tell me what you're doing here and why you're here.
Hi, I'm from Mosaic Family Services. It's a non-profit social service providing agency serving human trafficking victims and domestic violence victims. I'm a human trafficking education specialist. I'll go anywhere provide education in human trafficking. It is a serious issue that we're dealing with in not only Dallas, in the whole nation.
So is human trafficking that big of a problem in the state of Texas?
So the state of Texas. Texas is the second state in the United States with human trafficking cases, unfortunately, right after California, that's something that I discovered. It was very shocking.
Right.
And DFW area is the second area in Texas state with the human trafficking cases, especially the Dallas area is number one with these child sex trafficking cases.
Okay.
Now, human traffickers are like opportunistic criminals taking advantage of vulnerability victims. Vulnerable victims are perpetuated by the system, and usually the victims are not only from broken family, marginalized society, but also from just normal families. So
right.
It affects anybody.
And we understand that children that are trafficked can come from any type of a situation, but do you find in particular vulnerable children, children of divorce, children that come from broken families or families that have never been formed, single parent families, are they, from what your experience or from what you know, even more vulnerable to being trafficked?
Yes, especially children from foster system.
From the foster system as well.
Children from broken family, because they don't have like families or parents who look out for them. They have like less protection, and so they are particularly vulnerable. And traffickers know, they're like a predator. They know how to find this vulnerability in children. Children are already vulnerable, but they are out there just to get this vulnerability. children.
I got you. So what you're saying is there's an additional vulnerability.
Right.
The traffickers know how to exploit that. So I guess the follow-up question to that would be, if we could do something to keep families intact and strengthen the families, that would help to eliminate or minimize some of the problem.
Right. The part of it is just be aware how they're not like. First of all, the traffickers are not like scary looking guy out there looking like criminal. A lot of time they just look normal, but you can't really tell that they're a human trafficker.
Right.
And you can't really tell that the way they recruit the children are. It doesn't look like the way we actually imagine. So important thing is we have to be aware, we have to get educated about how they traffic the children and how they recruit, how they control them. That's the importance of education of human trafficking.
So if people wanted to contact you and maybe be involved or whatever, how would they go about doing so?
Just email me.
And give us your email then, that they can email you.
Email address is Nikki, Nikij at mosaicfamilyservices.org.
mosaicfamilyservices.org.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Thanks, Nikki.
Sure.
Okay, last person, Kat Gann. We're still here at the meeting for the Attorney General. He's going to be speaking on human trafficking. Kat, tell me why you're here right now.
Well, I was asked to be here at Texas Health. I'm the director for the Sexual Assault Nurse Examiner program, and sometimes we actually we impact patients who have been sexually assaulted as well as trafficked.
Okay.
So it is a component of trafficking, not always, but sometimes.
Okay, so human trafficking, because that's the topic here tonight. Is human trafficking really that big of a deal in the state of Texas?
It's huge. It's huge everywhere. And the thing is, it's not an international thing. It's a local thing. People are being trafficked right in front of us on city corners. People don't even have to leave their homes to be trafficked. A mother can sell her child to another person for money, for sex, and trafficked didn't even leave the house. She was trafficked.
Wow. So when we talk about children that are trafficked and vulnerable children, one of the things that I always ask people is children that come from broken families, from single-parent families, from families that have never been formed, children of divorce, are they even more vulnerable than children that come from intact family, from your experience and from what you know?
I think that happens quite a bit, but I also hear of situations where children that come from homes that you would not think they would be trafficked are. People just don't realize it. They're there in plain sight and we don't see them.
Yeah.
They are more vulnerable in areas with broken homes, but only because the parents are not there to be with them, with two parents. Not that they don't want to protect, but sometimes they can't protect.
They can't,
Yeah.
So if somebody wants to be involved with what you're doing, how do they contact you?
Well, at Texas Health, and my phone number is my brain exploded, 682-236-7164.
Say that again?
682-236-7164.
Okay.
That's my office number, and then I can be reached at Texas Health.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Thanks for your time.